All right, for more on the story, let's speak to Pieter Cleppe. He's the Brussels head of Open Europe. Peter, now thank you very much for joining us. Now, what does this border control actually mean? I mean, will migrants and refugees be denied entry once they reach the Swedish or Danish border?
It's very unclear to what extent people will be controlled and what will be the consequence if they are caught. But the Danish Prime Minister has already said that if these Swedish ID checks end up in a lot of refugees being stranded in Denmark, he will copy what the Swedes have done to Denmark, and he will reinstate ID checks at the border with Germany.
Peter, I want to go into this argument of proactive and reactive. Sweden says it can no longer handle the level of refugees arriving. Didn't they foresee this massive influx? I mean, because Sweden has had a very tolerant and welcoming policy on refugees before.
Well, you can see that indeed they've probably promised a bit too many people refuge. There is some kind of limit to the absorption capacity of any country, and this is becoming visible at the moment. However, I think to blow up Schengen in order to do this is absolutely the wrong policy. Schengen is a great thing for continental Europe, has massive economic benefits, and we should keep in mind that, at least according to Frontex last year, still the majority of illegal people in Europe have arrived perfectly legally. So even if you would manage to close all European borders, and you can make an argument that it's probably important to focus on closing the external border, not the internal Schengen border, but even if you would do that, still around half of the illegal migrants that are currently here in Europe would still be there.
Why is border control such a sensitive issue in Europe?
Well, immigration is a sensitive issue everywhere in the world. What is very unfortunate is that the European Union, which is largely innocent in this debate, has tried to grab powers on the back of the refugee crisis, has tried to get its hands on asylum policy, tried to intervene into border control policy. Now, whereas it makes sense to cooperate, of course, between European countries, given that our common border is the Mediterranean, it doesn't mean that you should have a very powerful supranational bureaucracy that would gain powers to override whatever is being decided in Greece or Italy, for example.
All right, Open Europe's Pieter Cleppe, thank you very much for joining us.